Hi, and welcome to the recording of this week's Market to Make Workshop Database Management. I'm Julian Mills, and I'm joined by Atticus Mills, and we'll be starting the course shortly when all the attendees have arrived. For the purposes of today's call, I've set up a brand new high-level account, so there's no clutter in there. We've just got a clean account so we can guide you through the principles of the database here. Uh, so the first thing is recent updates. They've recently updated the contact us. Sorry, not the contact us. The contact record. So it looks different now. You'll see that as we go through this. But the first exercise I wanted to go through was importing contacts. Show you that from scratch. And just some of the things to be aware of when you do it when you're importing contacts. Okay, so we find contacts under the tab on the left-hand side called contacts. And you can see here this brand new high-level account, it's blank. So the first thing we're going to do is import some data. Okay, so in true Blue Peter style, uh, here's a test file I had ChatGPT create for me earlier on. So we're going to import this file of data. Uh, so when you're importing data, it's really important that you do some housekeeping before you import it. Because if you import a load of rubbish into your database, then you're going to live with it, you know. So if you're just starting out with high level, it's a good opportunity to start from scratch in a clean way. So in this test file, I've got the typical fields you might have: first name, last name, email, phone number, date of birth. I'm gonna apply a tag automatically. I'm going to apply a tag to say they're either a customer or a prospect. And also, we're going to populate a custom field as well. So the tags and the custom fields are a way of us storing data against a contact record. What's the difference between the two? Well, in terms of functionality, not much, other than a custom field, which this will be. Later on, if we want to merge that value into an email or something like that, we can merge their favorite color is orange. You can't merge into a tag, you can't use a tag and merge it into your email message. So I must admit, these days I tend to use a lot more custom fields rather than tags because the other thing with tags is eventually you have contact records that have got 40 tags on there, something like that. And it's very hard then to see the wood for the trees when you're trying to search through 40 tags, trying to see what if someone's a customer or a prospect. The other thing with tags as well, in this instance here, if someone comes in as a prospect and I tag them as a prospect and later they become a customer, yeah, I got to be very diligent to make sure that I remove the prospect tag at that point. Otherwise, I end up with a contact record where I've tagged them as a customer and a prospect. So then I don't know what they are. With a custom field to store the same data as customer and prospect, I would probably use a radio field. So they can only ever be one or the other. They can only ever be a customer or a prospect. They can't be both at the same time. So that's just a different way of using the custom fields to store data. Is that making sense, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry, explain a radio field.
A radio button, or it's a type of custom field where rather than a text field, it's you've got two options like yes or no,
Right.
and it's not like I've got to choose. I can only choose one at a time. I can't have them both up at the same time. It's like a switch on off switch, either on or off. Yep.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is import this data in a minute. Now, the other thing to be really wary of when you're importing data is dates. Yeah. Now, I've been caught out by this one, so watch out when you're importing dates, because again, you might be importing you might be importing the data from an Excel file or whatever, where that field has been configured in the US date format. Okay, and then when you import it into your UK version of high level, it can rearrange the dates. So the first of June becomes the 6th of January. And it's really hard to spot as you're importing the data. It's really hard to spot, because it looks right. 6th of June looks say first 1st of January or 6th of June or the whichever. You get the idea, yeah? It mixes up between the US and UK format. So be very careful when you're importing. Make sure you test your data first on that one. Because I had it where I do it for a client and we only noticed like 3 or 4 months later. By then they're using the data, so we're stuck. Okay, so we're going to import this field here. So the first thing we've got to do, make sure that you're happy with the data, it's clean. Then we go to File, convert. I've got to download that as a CSV file. Okay, download that. And then we're ready to do the import. Okay, so whenever you're importing custom fields like this favorite color, you first of all got to set up the custom fields. So you go to Settings, Custom Fields. I'm just going to quickly add a field called favorite color. So I'll just do it as a single line. So there's the radio select there we mentioned before, Steve. It's like a switch, it's either yes or no. We're just going to do a single line here. Color. I'll just call it color. We're going to drop this data onto the contact record, not the opportunity or the company. It's going to be the contact. And the group is just like a folder on the contact record to store the data. We'll just put it in general info. Okay, I'll just save that. So you've got to create any custom fields before you do the import. So we've got that now. Now we can go back and go to contacts, import contact, import. So we're going to import contacts in this instance. Click next. Upload the CSV file. Like so. We're going to create an update. Because there's no data in there, it's only ever going to create. But sometimes you want to update existing data. Click on next. Now we've got to map the fields to make sure the fields in our spreadsheet match the corresponding fields in the HighLevel database. See, first name is going to first name in HighLevel, last name, last name. Email address is going to go into email. Phone number to phone. Date of birth to date of birth. Tag. So it's automatically going to create the tags here on import. And the favorite color, I'm going to now match it to the field called color. Delete that bottom here, custom field. And then click on next. In addition, we can do other actions as well. We can create a smart list for this import if you wish. Add them to an automation straight away or add tags. So I want to tag them all with a particular tag. I could do that here. Gives us a final check. Then we've got to confirm that they've agreed to it. That was emailing them. Bulk import, and that's it. So I just want to jump into here and check. If you haven't already got HighLevel software, then below you'll find a link to our Mark2Mate agency where you can sign up for a free trial, and we'll be more than happy to help you get onboarded and started using HighLevel. So there we got the 100 records, or the 43 so far. It's still finishing. We've got the 43 records imported. You see we've tagged them there automatically. If we go into one of these, we'll see the new style contact record. So to find your way around here, so you see we tagged them as a prospect there. We scroll down, we got the name, email. See, we import the phone number, UK format, date of birth is in there. So obviously I'd be checking that to make sure it corresponds to what I'm expecting in the original file. If you scroll down here, see here in this, so these are the folders of custom fields we got. See general info, I dropped in the favorite color was black. Yep, that's that there. Also on the contact record, do not disturb. So if I took this record down and marked them as do not disturb for emails, then they won't get any more emails from me. And then here we've got actions as well. So we can see any opportunities that have been assigned, opportunity records that have been assigned to the contact. We can see which workflows have been in or currently in any automation workflows. That's it. On the left hand side, on the right hand side here, we can see associations. Okay, so for instance, if we're creating company records for a contact, you see the company record there, and the opportunities will appear there as well. And also custom objects will appear there, whether you use, which is an advanced feature using the custom objects. We'll look at that at the end if we have time. Then we've got tasks here, any tasks that have been assigned, notes, any appointments that have been booked, any documents that have been uploaded, and obviously any e-commerce payments. So that's the basics of the contact record. And obviously here, if someone's given us their email address, their phone number, you see here we've got options where we can email them and text them, where whatever channels we've got enabled with us. Does that make sense, Steve? Got a question?
Yeah. Quite often with other platforms, you do an import for, say, contact data, then you do an import for company data, and it kind of merges the two together. You don't seem to need to do that with GoHighLevel.
Yeah. So what we've got here, click on here. Where is it? So sorry. See, you go into settings here, and you see here objects. They just rearranged all this. So you see company records here. So what you can do, if you tick this one here, yeah, as you add a contact record, and in the business name you put a business name, it'll automatically create a company record, corresponding company record.
Okay, so that you have to have the business name field is what it goes into. Well, that's the object, isn't it? The business name.
Yeah, yeah, it's a company record, yeah, company, which is an object, yeah. So what I would do is when you first set up your account, if you tick that when you first set up the account, and then when you import the contacts, if you import the business name, it'll automatically create a corresponding company.
Right.
There's,
Okay.
there's some caveats on that. So for instance, if you've got a company, I don't know, whatever, WH Smith Limited, yeah, and then you've got WH Smith Ltd. So the spelling's got to be spot on, otherwise you're going to create duplicate companies. Yeah. And then manually, if new staff are added to the database, you're going to have to manually apply them to the company. Yep. But we can do some more advanced features with companies now. We can drop actual companies into a workflow. So if a company's got 10 members of staff in, you could drop a company into a workflow and all 10 members of staff get emails, things like that now. That's the companies there. Another setting you might want to configure when you're first importing data. If you go to where are we go? I think where is it? Yeah, business profile here. Other key settings when you're dealing with contacts here, you've got verify email address when first email is sent. Okay. So again, if you enable that, there's a small cost to each one, but the first time it comes to send an email, it'll check if that's a valid email address. That can be really useful when you're starting out. It keeps the number of bounces down. When you're importing cold data, that's really useful. And then also in some instances, the system is going to check every time a contact comes in the system, it's going to check based on email and phone number. Does that contact already exist? Yeah. Uh, so you can disable that if you want. If you want to allow duplicate contacts, you can allow that, but generally you don't want duplicates. But you've got that option if you need it. So that's in the settings there. Also, we've got another one here, merge Facebook contacts by name. So if someone's contacting you from your Facebook page, we don't know the email address, we don't know the phone number to dedupe it. So the system will have its best go at merging based on the name you've got for them. So that's happening there. Good. Is that okay, guys? Any questions at this point? I'll carry on.
Could I just ask a question? Something that Steve was talking about earlier, and I just picked up on. So I'm not sure how best to explain, but obviously I'm using my high level, and I've still got my original database that I sometimes refer back to. And so the question is about linking contacts to companies. So, for example, how to explain it really easily. If for example, the employer was Tesco's and there were 10 contacts that worked at Tesco's, on my original database, you could link them. So if you look up Tesco's, you'd see all 10 contacts. Similarly, if there was, say, 5 people at Sainsbury's, you could do the same thing. Um, and then if, for example, one person left Tesco's because they've moved somewhere else, then you just unlink them. And then when you next look up Tesco's, you see 9 people, not 10. So I didn't know, I haven't done any work on this yet in HighLevel, but I didn't know if you could link the companies in that, in that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, if you switch, I don't know if you got it switched on in your account, Rob, but if you switch on the in the custom in the objects, if you switch on here companies to automatically create an associate, your database, it'll automatically create a company record and associate any employees with that company.
Right.
Let's say if you've got different spellings of the word Tesco, Tesco Limited, Tesco Ltd, it's going to create multiple copies of the company. That's the only thing. And then, like you say, you can disassociate contacts from the company later on, so it becomes 9 contacts. Like you say, you can do all that. Yes.
So could you look up in GoHighLevel, in Rob's case there, Tesco's, and see a list of just 10
Yes.
employees who are there?
Again, I can't show you on this example because I haven't set that demo up to do that. But what you do, see, you go to contacts,
Yeah,
you go to companies.
right.
I've not set any up, but you can click on Tesco there, and then you can see the associated contacts, the 9 contacts.
Yeah, perfect.
You'd see it there, yeah. Okay.
Great.
That okay, Rob? That help?
Yeah, so if somebody left Tesco's, how would you disassociate that one contact from the lookup in the group?
Yeah, so you just go to contacts, go to here, you find the contact, and then you see the associations here. So you see here, so this one's associated to no company. If you want to add it to a company, I can click on add like that, or create a new company. Tesco, yeah. So
Okay, all right, I can have a little play
so now
around.
this person's associated, this Lily White is associated to Tesco. If I go to companies, I can see Tesco. I can click on Tesco and I can see where does it see it? Associate. It's not caught up yet. The database is just a bit slow, but you see the associated contacts there, 9 or whatever of them.
Okay, I'll have a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must admit, it's not a feature I use very much. I just go I'm really talking to contacts rather than companies, me. Personal preference.
Yeah.
Okay, is that okay, guys? We'll crack on, yeah? That's a
Yeah.
custom field. So when you look at tags as well, you can click on settings and you'll see here now we can manage our custom fields in here. Custom field, and you can see the tags as well. Tags should be here somewhere, tags. And with these 2 tags we automatically created when we imported them in. But equally, I can go rename them if I wish to. I can rename them. Customer like that. Again, when I rename them, I'm not changing the contacts associated, I'm just changing the name of the tag. I can delete the tags here. If I delete the tag, I'm not deleting the contacts, I'm just deleting the tag. Yep, that okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going back to the contacts now. This is a new feature. Caught me out. I had to check with tech support earlier. So in the past, we used to have a little menu here, be able to merge contacts, add tags, delete them. There used to be a little menu here. That's disappeared now. We can just import contacts. The reason the menu's disappeared, it's still there. You just had to start highlighting contacts. And you see, so we can export the data, trigger automation, send them an email, add tags. So by default, it selects the first page, 20 contacts. So I want to select all, I just select all like that. Yeah. So select all. Okay. When you come to exporting data, say you want to export this data into a third-party tool, you can export it here. But what you've got to do to export all the data, you've got to manage the fields to show what fields you want to export. You see here. So for instance, if I wanted to export this data with a favorite color field, I'd have to then find the field. Where is it? Color like that, like that. So color appears on here now. So when I do the export of those 98, it include that field with it. Is that okay? And also we've got all these options here. So you can take a list of data and you can send them a bulk email like a broadcast email, request send review request. Yeah, you can do all these actions. Okay, you can even delete the contacts. So there's a lot you can do there from the main menu. Uh, when we can also do searches. Searches and segmented data is important as well. So I'll just do I'll show you how to do a search. Select smart list. So if I wanted to pull up a list of all the people that are tagged as customers, yeah, I go to advanced filters and I could look for tags. A tag is customers, yep. And I could do that one. I could do apply. And it brings me up a list of however many that is. Tell me how many? 49. So that's just simply that's selecting just on the tag customers, but you can get a bit fancier. You can do more detailed work than that as well. So I could go like this and nested filters and say, okay, I want the color. Find the color field. Color is red. So now we're looking for people that tagged as customers and they said their favorite color is red. Hopefully this will work. I've come up with no data there for that one. Let's try another color. Still not getting it right. So maybe I've got my search wrong there with the nested colors. No, I should work, shouldn't it?
Is it the spelling? Is it capital B for black or something?
Shouldn't make any difference that. Oh, you well done, Steve. You get
See,
you
you're
get brownie
pleased,
points
you're
there.
pleased I'm here, really, aren't you?
And I got there eventually. So there we're doing a sort of drilling down now. So you can do all combinations to segment your database. Yeah. And also what we can do then is we can create a smart list. So if you're going to reference that particular search quite often, you can create a smart list. So how do I do that? You used to be able to do that from here. Um,
Select the record, maybe.
uh, oh, it's just doing that. So add
Press
smart list.
create now.
Yeah, create. So I didn't give it a name, did I? But that's if they're giving it a proper name, then that would be a smart list across the top. So any sort of segment you're referencing quite often, that can be a useful trick.
Yeah.
Is that okay there? Filter smart list. Okay. So the other thing as well, so often, right, you'll want to do more than these options give you. Yeah, you might want to take the data, add a contact field, update a contact field, create an opportunity, add a task. Yeah. So some of those things you can do from here, which is so there's a limited set there, but using the workflows and creating temporary workflows, we can have infinite combinations of what we want to do. Okay, so if I wanted to, for instance, update the color field on all these records, it's I don't think I could do it from here off the directly. But say I wanted to change all the favorite colors to red, for instance, right? The way I would do that is go to automation. Because I say doing it this way, you've got infinite ways you can manipulate your data. Uh, and I would create a workflow, start from scratch. I'd call this a temporary workflow. 'Cause to me, if it's a temporary workflow, I know after tomorrow, anytime in the future I see it, I can delete it because it's only a temporary one-time use workflow. Okay, so I'll show you here. So I create a temporary workflow. I might put a name on it. Update. Favorite color to red. Yeah, something like that. So I don't need a trigger for this because I'm going to manually take everybody in a minute and just drop them in here manually. So I don't need a trigger here. I just need to click on here and go update. Update contact field. We drill down to here. If I'm looking for color, like I mentioned. Custom. I've only got one custom field color. I'm going to change it to red. I'll make it capitals as well. Like that. Okay. Any other combinations I wanted to create notes, tasks, anything like that, I can do all that here as well. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. So I make my temporary workflow ready, like that. I go back, so I go back to the contacts now. If I select them all, select all 89, you see here they've all got different colors, manage fields. Where is it? Have I got color on there already? Pop that on there. So you can see the color there. I'm going to check. I want to change all those to red. Okay, so I can take all those contacts. I've selected them all already, and then I would trigger an automation. Just call it update. I've just got to give it a name. Update. Find the workflow. Temporary workflow. Update favorite color to red. Send all at once. I'm not sending emails here. I'm just updating a custom field. So do it all at once. Add to automation. Let that run. So that's almost completed now. Go back to contacts. You see here we've updated all the database now they're all now red. Let's say so using that little trick, that little hack, you can manipulate you can do some sophisticated sort of data updating and manipulation. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, everyone happy yet? It's quite simple, isn't it? Okay, got that there. Okay, so coming back to the types of data we've got. So we've got the contact records. Obviously these are all types of objects. Yeah, we've got the opportunity records as well. If we go to settings, then we can see the other types of objects we got. There's the contacts, opportunities, and companies. We can also create custom objects now. So I'm going to create a custom object. So I'll call it pet. Plural is pets. Primary display for enter the field name. I'll keep it the same. This takes a little bit of playing about with, but this is for when you want to, if I wanted to specifically store data on pets. Yeah, create custom object. So you should see now I've got another type of record here. So you can click on back. You see here now. So in addition to the contact records, uh, company records, and opportunity, I've now got one for pets. And I can again manage the fields here again. So I might have the pet name, the pet birthday, the species of pet, notes. And again, I can create an association between each pet and the contact owner. So it's sort of a bit of an advanced use case, this sort of tool, but does that make sense? It gives you the option if you need it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a way with a client to associate consultants who work for certain contractors who use the client for spare parts. So I'm wondering whether I could create an object as the consultant, because the consultant works with multiple projects and multiple contractors, but they're kind of like the link pin. They're the person that does the survey, specifies jobs, does a whole load of things, and they ultimately are really the customer to my client,
Yeah.
because the more work they bring in, the more revenue they get. So I'm wondering whether that would be a use of that.
Possibly, yeah, because you can automate it as well. You can start to create automations between. It's hard to explain because it feels like three-dimensional, doesn't it? But the one I quote often is like a veterinary surgeon. The customer is a paying customer. Each has different pets. So when it's having a hamster's birthday, you can send the owner an email that it's Hammy's birthday, things like that. You can start to get.
Yeah, so if you had it for, say, like a health club, and the health club had family membership, so you have obviously mum, dad, two daughters.
Yeah,
That instead of it being pets, you could call it family.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the sort of principle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's useful.
Yeah, the only limitations I found on this to be aware of at the start is at the moment you can't import custom object data.
Right.
So if you start, it's okay to start it from scratch, but if you've got a database already, then you can't import it automatically anyway. And the other thing is there's no trigger in the automation for dates. So for instance, if you've got an associated contact with a birthday, you couldn't trigger on their birthday to send them an email or send the parent an email or things like that. So there's a few things that it's not quite there yet in my view. Almost, but not quite. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that before you go too far down the track at the moment, Steve.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Another new feature I've noticed is you go to sites here and go to forms. And I was doing this morning. I create a new form. So normally, especially with Keep, a form just updated the contact record. Yep. So someone fills in the form, first name, last name, email, phone, and it creates a contact record and updates the contact record. We can get a bit smarter now. You see here, contact. So you can have company record.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Add field. Yeah. Oh, hang on a sec. So go to company record and pop in company name like that. So coming back to what Rob was talking about earlier, when this
Absolutely. Yeah,
you see the point, Steve, yeah? So when this form is filled in, it's going to actually create a company record
yeah,
associated contact with that company name.
yeah. Great. Really good.
Yeah. And it's not just, see, we can also do it on, see, no side of that object there's pet, Steve. So here I can collect in the pet's name as well. That's quite a cool feature, actually. So it's a bit more,
Yeah.
that's that one. See on that one. What else? So I'm just looking. Anything I missed there, Atticus? I think I'm near to the end of what I was going to talk about. Any more questions for anybody? Or I can find something to talk about.
I've just got one question, a bit off topic slightly, just getting back to the text. So, because email's free, but would there be a cost to the text? And if so, how would you load up the account with money to pay for it all?
The text. So yes, you already set up for it. You already set up for it, Rob. Yeah. So you go to settings. You already set up for this. You always go to billing here. Uh, and if you have it already, it'll ask you for a credit card, and it'll just pay as you go. So it'll top up on $10. When you use the $10 up, it'll just top itself up again on your credit card.
So, do you know what the cost is per text
It
to
works
send?
out 6p per text.
6p per
Yeah,
text,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
So
that's already set up with me. I can't remember this
I,
really.
I can remember. Yeah, you're set up for it. We,
So I
we,
can select a contact record, send them a text to say hello or whatever,
pro-
and
yeah.
that
Provided
will,
you got the phone number. Provided you got a mobile phone number. Yes.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, it goes to the mobile phone number,
Yeah.
and that will cost 6p.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And,
Right.
and you can automate that. I can show you on mine how you can automate that. So I would use the text very sparingly. Yeah. So I use it to remind people 10 minutes before we got a call booked. Yeah. That works out. That makes sense to do. I wouldn't just blast 1,000 people text. Keep it. Yeah. Keep it sort of tactical. But again, so you can send text. You can send text manually. I won't go to my account and start showing data, but you can go to a contact record, like so. I've got a phone number here. So you can send the text manually. Once you see, you need to have the phone number create a regulatory bundle to create a phone number which you've got, Rob, yeah, and your phone number which you've got. But what you would then see an option here where you could write a text here and send them a text manually. Or as part of the automation, we can send a text as part of an automated process. So you see here, go to an automation. Well, I've got this one here, for instance. So you can send it manually, or you could go here and just send a text. Send an SMS. Yeah, so text goes here. Yeah, let's save that. So that would automatically send a text for you as part of a workflow. So you might send an email, an hour later send a text to follow up, things like that.
Okay, and with the phone number that they receive on their phone, would that be the high level number that's associated with my account?
Yeah, that would be the high level number. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Right, okay.
So you send them a text out, yeah, and then then they can reply to the text. They can even try and phone that phone number. Okay, so what we would do, so if they try and phone the phone number, what you would do in your settings, yeah, I'll show you mine here. Yeah. So we can plan all these things out. The system can accommodate it. So I go to settings. I'll show you my phone numbers, phone system. See, I've got free phone. I've got free phone numbers in the system. I've got a US phone number, which is A2P verified. So I can text from here straight into the States. You need to be very A2P verified to do that one. Uh, but you see these numbers here. These are all set up to. This is the AI phone receptionist one working. But here I can edit configuration. Here you can call forward. So if someone tries to phone that number, I can forward it onto my mobile. All sorts of things like that. At the moment, that's been overridden because I'm using voice AI to answer the phone. Yeah. So you set it up there. Rob said anyone phones your number, it can forward onto your mobile, your landline or your mobile. Yeah. If someone texts me, okay, someone tries to text back, what I would do is set up an automation for that. Automation. Yeah, see, because you don't want someone to text back and you not know about it. So what we can do there, create an automation, and you can use this for Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp as well. So if someone sends you an Instagram message or a Facebook from your Facebook page, we can use this concept, start from scratch. So this is called this. We need a trigger for this. So it's called reply channel or customer replied rather. Yeah. So what in this instance, so say someone texts us back on the high level text number, phone number. So look here, we go to reply channel. You see all the ones we've got, text. So you send them a text automatic through the system. They reply back. It's going to trigger here. Yep. So now the system knows that someone's replied to text. And then what we can do here, what I like to do is internal notification. Send an internal notification to me. So a notification will ping me on the mobile phone app. Ping, you've received a text into high level. New message. Do it very quickly. And then here, I'm going to merge into the message that I receive on the mobile phone app, the actual message that came in, which should be here, message body. So whatever text they sent me is going to appear, it's going to ping me on the mobile app, and I can see the message, and then I can click through. You see here, I can click through straight to the conversation view or the contact record. And then we go to the conversation. I can pick up the text message conversation and message them through the HighLevel app. So then, rather than doing it through my mobile phone, because if I do it through the HighLevel app, then the email, the text conversation gets recorded on the contact record. Yeah, you see, I might assign it to myself, a particular user to me. Yeah, so again, the same principle works, not just for text, but say, cancel that. Where does it go back? Yeah, same principle works here. Rather than if I make if they're replying to a Facebook Messenger, yeah. So they message me from the Facebook account with synchronized. Again, you can tell me a Facebook message come in, a WhatsApp message come in, an Instagram message, and I can reply accordingly.
Yeah. Just one other quick question. Can, can it do WhatsApp? I think it can. If so, is that free? And if that's the case, what mobile number is shown on their device as well?
Yep. So with the WhatsApp, that's the only thing that's an add-on. Rob, that's a $30 a month add-on for the WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay, well, but would my personal mobile have to be visible on their device?
No, you create you link it to a WhatsApp business account. It just creates it when you import, and you
Oh,
link it. You
do
link
that.
it.
Yeah,
You link it to the phone number you've got in your high level. Link it to that phone number.
right. Okay. Well,
And
that's
so then
okay.
that way it's not tied to your mobile phone. You know, some people might have a team of 10 people going in, and you're just using the one WhatsApp account rather than everyone has it on their phone and it
But but if my contact hasn't got WhatsApp on their phone, they wouldn't receive that message, would they?
correct. They wouldn't receive it. Yeah, if they haven't got a WhatsApp account, then they won't get the WhatsApp message.
So an SMS text is the most reliable, even though there's 6p per text cost.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also on the WhatsApp as well. If someone messages you on WhatsApp, that's just like a normal WhatsApp message. But say you want to message 1,000 people cold, yeah,
Mm.
it works out about 6p again for a WhatsApp message. But on a WhatsApp, because Meta consider that a marketing message and they charge for that.
Yeah, I just want to experiment with the texting because
Yeah,
as talking to customers and that, I don't want to do it via email. I want to send them a text as well as, direct
yeah.
marketing. And just sort of see how that works really, and then I can sort of see which is better.
Got you, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, I know for a fact you're already set up to do that. So, yeah.
yeah, I just haven't used it. So yeah, that's all it was really.
Any other questions on the data side, guys? Anything from you, Charles, today?
Yeah, Julian, I think in one of your presentations, you showed a way how you made a smart list to clean up all your data for people without um, kind of email addresses or
Oh,
phone
yeah,
numbers
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. How, could you give us a bit of a thought process around that? I mean, we get quite a lot of people who kind of end up in our high level from our Instagram account. We don't have any details of them, and I don't know, I haven't quite worked out what to do with them.
Okay, yeah. So when people are contacting you, I've been working with a client on this recently. So people are contacting you from Instagram, is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're either responding to, or following us or whatever, and they just sort of drop into our high level, and it's like, oh God, what do I do with all these people?
Okay, yeah, we can clear those out. But before you do that, this might be an idea for you, yeah.
Hmm.
So you go to a workflow. Excuse me. Let me, I'll do it in mine here, my account here, yeah. So again, just like I show you before on the reply channel, yeah. So we choose a reply channel, yeah. Customer replied. Say it's Instagram, yeah. Reply channel. Say it's Instagram DM, yeah.
Hmm.
So again, I would only let people go into this workflow once because you don't want this to happen every time you message you, yeah. So just the
Yep.
first time. So I'd go to settings and not allow re-entry.
Hmm.
Only happens once for them. So so the first time a message comes in, I would then send them an Instagram message, Instagram DM. So this window only lasts for 24 hours, but we're doing it straight away. And then you'd ask them, what is your email? So we can keep in touch. Keep in touch. What is your email address?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so when they do that, yeah, save the action. Yeah. So when they reply to that message with their email address, the system grabs the email address, pops in the contact record. So now you've got a proper contact record for them, not a half-baked one.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, so that might stop a lot of these getting to that point. So now you can do something with them now. Yeah.
Mhm.
But then the ones that are coming in blank with no email, no name. So what I've got, I just did a search. I just did a search. Yeah, just a filter. Where are we? Advanced filter. So I'm just doing a filter, basically saying if the first name is empty. Yeah. Uh, I'd filter or email address is empty. And these are all to do with group calls. When the system has set up group calls, it creates these blank ones for some reason. Yeah. Then I can save that as add as a smart list.
Mhm.
So then see there at the moment I've got how many have I got there? 74 of them. Well, they've crept up. See, some people have been phoning in and things like that to the voice AI, but then I can just delete those. So I just every so often I just go and delete those out. I could probably work out a way to automatically delete them. That's how I do it. Charles, that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect. No, that's really helpful. Thank you.
But anyone Facebooking you or anything, ask them that first question, what's your email address? And then
Yes,
and
yeah.
it's
I'll
obviously
set that up now.
after the 24 hours, they Facebook you or Instagram you, after 24 hours, it's a dead contact because you can't reach back to them. But if you've got the email, then you got them, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, no, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Like a point, that's sort of keeping your data up to date, dating as you go, yeah. Anything else? Anything else, guys, while we're here?
Julian, it's a really boring, dull question, but I got asked yesterday with GDPR, um, who is the data processor, and what was the other one? The data handler or something, when using, GoHighLevel. And I said I'd get back to them. I haven't really got an answer for that.
Good question. I did go through this with ChatGPT and worked it all out. At one point, I'll find that summary for you. But I think what is this? There's data processors and data controllers, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. Data controller. Yeah,
So I think your client is a data controller, and
yeah,
then if you're going into their account doing manipulating data for them, then you're the data. I guess you're the data processor. I'd have to check. I'd have to check on the chat GPT. I was investigating this myself.
yeah. Because I tell you, they're going through a process of, they've had to do it through their insurance, cyber security, and then the enhanced level of cyber security. And it's starting to throw up questions about, data integration and all this sort of stuff. And it sounded to me like it was all quite testing stuff, really. But forms and all this sort of jazz, stuff going on in GoHighLevel. I don't know if you had any experience of that, cybersecurity stuff.
Um, I can't say I'm an expert on that. I just know that we're as an agency we're very careful about our passwords and that.
Yeah.
Atticus and I. And I did start. What was that? I must relook at it. I did
Cyber
start on it.
Essentials. Cyber Essentials, that's what it was.
Yeah. I did start looking at I've got it. I must admit, I must finish that project off about having a document, where clients sign and
Yeah,
the documents who the controller, who the data controller is, who the processor is, and we won't do any work on your data unless you tell us to. That sort of thing. I had it all documented out.
yeah, no, that would make sense because I've never had that or seen that, and I think they were asking the question, and yeah,
I could dig out for you, Steve, the work I've done on ChatGPT on this one to sort of come. When you're onboarding a new client, part of your onboarding is this sign various contracts.
yeah, absolutely,
One of them is that. Because
yeah,
obviously more corporate clients, that's big. That's obviously an issue for them to be fully covered.
yeah, no, definitely.
But
Well,
yeah.
it seemed to be the insurance thing which was driving it. They have got pressure from the insurance companies to document compliance with all this stuff, and so it's starting to flag up questions
Yes, yeah,
about
yeah.
their data. So I thought that was interesting.
Let me dig. I'll dig up where I got to that, Steve, on that one. Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, very good. And that Lucid chart thing, I showed them that. They do a lot of electrical drawings, and they very much like that. so, so that was great. Thank you for sending that through.
Yeah, yeah. No problem. Have you started using Lucid Chat yourself yet?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did actually a diagram for the sales director for a new thing. We're trying to book factory tours, so
Yeah.
I put the whole process that we were suggesting in, and all the stuff, and just showed it. And the nice thing about it is you can print it out. You put their logo at the top of it. There was a sales meeting yesterday. I went to show that. And they were quite impressed.
Oh, okay. Well, get your brownie points.
No, definitely. No, it even sounded like I knew what I was talking about. It was amazing.
It's brilliant when you go back to a client like 6 months later or a year later, you can look a quick overview of that and you get a feel for where you're up to straight away. So it helps a lot, yeah.
But it's really useful to also map out because you've got other departments, for example, and there's other things that people need input. But you've then got a document which you can share, and they were drawing and adding things onto it, and then I can create that in the automation. Without all sitting around the screen and trying to look at the automation.
You take it to another level. I've not got this detailed. Have you heard of Ryan Dice?
I have heard the name. Yeah,
Yeah,
why? But yeah.
that digital marketer,
Oh
digital
yeah, yeah,
marketer.
yeah,
Yeah. So he has another version I saw, which I've never gone down this level with it. So adding layers to it.
yeah,
Okay. So on top, on the Lucid chart, you can have layers. You can't on draw.io, but you can on Lucid. So you might have a layer where you can click on it to show the layer, and it would cover. Then it would show a job position on top of it. So what that job position, um, so you've got all your processes, but then you can overlay it so you can see what job role handles that part of the process,
yeah,
even down to employee names. You can see which employees cover which bits of the jigsaw. That's
yeah,
quite clever. But
yeah,
I've not had cause to go down to that level myself yet.
yeah. Last question: Do you use any project management software?
I must admit I don't. Our sort of projects are. It's we're doing like implementation calls. So the little on that Lucid chart, the little grid
Yeah,
we've
the
got.
flow. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you use one?
I have in the past, but it's hideously expensive. I used Asana, and when you start adding other people into the account, it starts to get really expensive. So I'm just trying to find a lower cost way of doing it. And it's just overly complicated as well. I just want something really simple.
I found it complicated. Interestingly, the Entrepreneur Circle the other week, and Nigel Bottle, they use Asana for their coaching. They do
Yeah,
a system called the Master Plan, and he was showing his budgets, and he's paying like £3,000 a month to Asana
yeah,
because he's got that many people on it. Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, very easily. Yeah,
The issue I found with project management tools like Basecamp and Asana is what I find is I don't know if you found every client uses a different platform.
yeah,
So they say, "Oh, can you use Basecamp?" Well, I could. The problem is, every other client wants me to use Asana, Basecamp, and I wouldn't get any work done because I'm constantly trying to monitor all these platforms.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
issue I've had with them.
yeah. Well, we've started saying now, if it's another CRM, we won't do it. We'll just do this one CRM. That's it. If you want
Yeah.
to use something else, that's up to you. Go and do that yourself. So I just want to keep it really simple, and I don't need that many accounts because we get paid a retainer for the marketing work, and I'm not interested in if they want to use some different platform. I can't be bothered to learn all that as well. They all change so much, don't they? That's why I come on this calls, because every week there's changes.
Yeah, yeah. Are you talking about project management software in particular
No,
here?
CRMs,
Oh, okay.
CRMs, and now the big question is projects. Project management software. So I've got some guy saying to me, can I say we set up a Monday account, for example, Monday.com, and I'm like, well, have you seen how much it starts to cost after a while? It's ridiculous. So if you're paying for it and add me on, that's fine. I get a free access into Monday, and I can chip it in. And if you get rid of me as a consultant, then just chop me off, and I'm out of it. But I don't want to be setting up the software, for you, and then you drop off, and it's a pain.
Yeah, you can't keep up to speed with all. You just can't keep up. I couldn't keep up with them all.
No, I'm experimenting, looking at a pipeline for project management. Just use a pipeline in here for each project and move the things along and just have it all in one place.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that that's very similar to a Trello board. Yeah, we've got one client. Is it a dentist client, Atticus, who uses Trello? Yeah, so they're all using Trello in like a pipeline functionality. So what
Yeah,
we're going to do with them is we're not going to try and move them into HighLevel to do the pipeline. Just stick with the Trello pipeline, and we can put triggers in there.
yeah,
So their guys carry on using Trello like they're used to using it, but we can replicate that in HighLevel with a pipeline where they'll be moving through our pipeline as they're moving them through Trello.
oh, neat. Okay, that's good.
That's another way to do it. Yeah, so there's different ways to do things, isn't there? But it's just not worth upsetting the apple cart with Trello for them.
No, no. All right, very good. Thank
Um,
you.
so we come to the turn of the hour then. So anything else from you, Rob? Are you okay there now?
Um, just one question again about that texting. If I use texting as the method to communicate with my contact, um, would there ever be a situation where they wouldn't receive that text? So when I send a text, I'm assuming they're going to get it on their phone.
Yeah.
For example, if it was WhatsApp and they didn't have WhatsApp, I'm guessing they wouldn't even receive it anyway. But if I use texting, SMS texting, I'm assuming that just because I send the message that they're going to receive it. So the question is, would there ever be a situation where they wouldn't receive it and I wouldn't know?
That can happen if you're doing bulk. I've had this with clients where they jump into texting and just start.
Right?
I've had it with clients where they start texting and they'll start sending thousands of texts off the
No,
bat.
it wouldn't be. Sorry, it wouldn't. I'm not going to
Yeah,
send like
yeah,
group. So I'm going to have a conversation with a contact.
yeah,
I'm going to add them to the database, and then probably, I don't know, 7 times out of 10, I might say to someone, just going to send you a quick text. So it'd be like a one-to-one text, if you see what I mean.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas normally I'd send them an email. I say, check your email, have you got it? And they say yes.
yeah, yeah.
So if I do it via texting and SMS texting, and I send the text, I'm going to assume they've got it, but it's only going to be one-to-one. I'm not going to do like 200 people in one go.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So it's when you're doing large volumes, you can get into trouble. If you get too many complaints, coming back to Twilio is sending the text for you. You get too many complaints that could flag you up, and they might start looking at all your forms and things for the opt to make sure you got the right opt-in for texting. So,
I don't think I'd really get complaints because I'd ask them on the telephone, okay, do you want further information about X, Y, Z? And if they say no, then I won't send it. But if they say yes, I'll go, okay, click the button. And then I'd say, you should have a text on your phone. And it's really just going to be a very short message with a link back to the website.
yeah. I can't see any problem with that, Rob. It's just behind the scenes sometimes because it's not like a personal phone text. It's marketing messages at the end of the day, and that's what we're classed as. If Twilio gets upset for some reason, they can put pause on your account, and then we have to go through and appeal it and all sorts of things like that. But for the level you're doing, it's good, especially because you're asking permission, so people aren't going to be complaining or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, I'm going to have a conversation with a contact, and then I'll say, "Do you want to receive this information?" But I just want to experiment and send the information via text and not via email.
Yeah. See, you shouldn't have it. You shouldn't have any problems with your level of things, Rob. Yeah. Yep.
All right, yeah, that's all I wanted to know really.
Yeah. That should be it. Yeah. Is that okay for now, Rob? Then, so I think we've lost everyone else now.
Oh, God, I don't know.
They've bugged out, as they say. Oh, okay, Rob. So give us a shout when you're to your next when you run your next campaign. Give us a shout.
Yeah, okay, no, all right then.
Okay, and Matt, will we see you next week? What's next week's workshop, Atticus? Is it
Websites and funnels next week.
website? Oh, Rob's an expert on those already.
I'm not really. I've got my head around the website, but funnels, I'm not. I don't think I use funnels.
Yeah, to be honest, it's the same build. It's just a different way of looking at the same coin. You know what I mean? It's just a different. You're pretty handy on the websites now, Rob. So you should be okay for that one.
Is the funnels just a website that just goes down? Is that one long funnel? Is that, or have I got that wrong?
No, all it is. Let me show you quickly here, Rob, very quickly. It's just the way it's presented. It's just window dressing more than anything. If you go to site, you see my screen, okay? Still, yeah.
Yeah, I can see the screen. Yeah,
Obviously, you're familiar with the websites. You've done lots of work on the websites, yeah.
yeah.
A funnel. I mean, this is my website built in a funnel. So all it is rather than having a thumbnail image of the page, I've just got a list here. Yeah. So
The funnel is still a website then,
effectively, yeah.
right?
So for instance, I've got about this website. I've got about I don't know how many pages, 20 or 30 pages there. Yeah. So on your version, you'd have 20 or 30 different thumbnails. I've just got a list. Yeah. And each one of those is an individual page. That's just a page. But because I put a menu across the top, and each one's got a menu across the top, it looks like a website.
So it's one and the same thing, isn't it? Really, a
It's
website.
one of the same thing, really. Yeah, it's just different ways of looking at it.
I'll keep my things simple and keep it as websites. But yeah, I like to go on these calls just because it's a bit of training for me, and I can. It's still hard to learn something you're not familiar with, so it's good once a week just to come on these calls and um, just to go over the stuff that I probably do know, but not that confident on, I suppose.
That's exactly it, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you just attending these calls, you just absorb it by osmosis and just get more familiar, sort of being familiar and confident with the system. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, that's great. Yeah, well, I'll probably see you next week then.
Okay. Cheers, Rob. Well, you can probably tell us a few tricks about next week because they say the website's you're the expert.
No.
All right then. Well, let's call it a day then. Okay, catch you again, Rob. Okay.
All right. Thanks very
Oh,
much.
have a good rest of the week. Cheers now. Bye. So that completes today's workshop for database management from Mark2Mate. You should see a QR code appear now. So you're going to book a discovery call with us. Please book a discovery call. And also you can use a QR link to book onto the next live workshop.